Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
2 people were stabbed in this area of Glenwood South behind me early this morning. Coming up, I'll show you the very latest from the scene.
And a few isolated storms are now forecast for later this afternoon, but those chances will go up along with the heat in the next couple of days.
Vice President Kamala Harris will start hitting the campaign trail with her running mate next week, and she'll make a stop right here in Raleigh. What we know about her battleground tour.
This morning, North Carolina native Hannah Roberts will compete in the freestyle BMX finals. When you can watch her compete. Plus, a look at Simone Biles' incredible floor performance that helped Team USA win gold, and other Olympic moments to watch for today. Still smiling at the women's gymnastics team, the U.S. women's gymnastics team, golden again, and what that entire team did for the team performance. Just amazing. I was so nervous.
I know. We all were.
And then just like breaking out in smiles. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And I tell you, watching that and just the nerves that you could feel. I mean, I was thinking of you because we'd left here and they hadn't finished up yet. It was on edge. But, you know, Elizabeth Gardner is back, and she went by Jade over there when she was competing with the women's gymnastics team, you know, so congratulations. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was very busy, you know, with all those things for sure. But very happy to be back with everybody this morning. We take a live look at North Hills. It's a warm and muggy start, of course. 77 degrees. Our dew point's at 71, which is way over on the muggy meter as you're headed out the door. Again, those rain chances today, pretty minimal, just a 20% chance through about 5 o'clock. 30% chance a little later on in the evening. Most likely, we'll see from the triangle area southward. That's going to be our best chance of seeing any thunderstorms. A hot day today. We climbed to 95, but those temperatures will climb over the next couple of days, and it's possible that we would go under a heat advisory tomorrow and Friday. We also bump up our chances for severe storms, and we'll take a closer look at that coming up. Speaking of severe storms, we take a look at our tropical outlook. Of course, we've been watching this for the last several days. There's a 60% chance that a system will develop near the Bahamas and start to move northward and possibly off the coast of North Carolina by early next week. That's Tuesday at 7 a.m. Of course, it's still lots of days away, a lot of things to be watching. One of the models, the American model, puts it over into the Gulf of Mexico. So still a lot to watch here with the system, and we'll have our eye on it the next several days.
Breaking news, a stabbing in downtown Raleigh has left at least one person seriously injured. The investigation is happening right now in the popular area of Glenwood South. Nick Perlin is there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Nick, police have been on the scene for at least 2 hours now. What's going on?
Well, we did get information about an hour ago that somebody is in custody, Renee, and I do want to get behind the camera because I want to show you a little bit more of their investigation here on Glenwood South. And you can see here evidence markers here scattered throughout the sidewalk here near this very popular area. Now, I did talk to some people who were outside shortly after this happened, and they were telling me that there was some sort of fight that happened. We're still trying to learn from Raleigh police if that escalated into these stabbings, but again, we do know at least one person is seriously injured, and we know another person was also arrived at the hospital. We're going to still stay on top of this one, and we'll let you know what else we find out about this. Reporting live in Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
There's new tension in the Middle East this morning after Hamas says its leader was assassinated at his home in Iran. Hamas says he died early this morning on an Israeli strike on his home. Israeli officials have not yet confirmed this or commented. Hamas says Ismail Haniyeh was killed after he attended the inauguration ceremony for Iran's new president. The chief of Israel's intelligence agency vowed to kill Haniyeh after Hamas's October 7th terrorist attacks. 3 of his sons were killed in an airstrike on the Gaza Strip in April. Hezbollah says it is still searching for the body of a commander targeted in Israeli strikes in Lebanon. The Israeli Defense Forces say the strike near Beirut killed the organization's most senior military commander. The attacks mark the most significant Israeli escalation since tensions between Israel and Hezbollah flared after October 7th.
This morning, a 2-county search is on for a man accused of nearly hitting a deputy with a car while escaping arrest. Deputies in Harnett County are using drones and canines to try and find Eric Stone. The Lee County Sheriff's Office says he nearly ran over a deputy Monday. He later crashed his car and went on the run. Stone is wanted in Harnett County for being a habitual felon and possessing methamphetamines. He's also wanted in Lee County for a probation violation, and he now faces an additional charge of assault with a deadly weapon on a law enforcement officer. Authorities say the swampy landscape in the area is giving Stone a lot of potential places to hide.
Kamala Harris will be in Raleigh next week with her new running mate by her side. The Harris campaign says she will announce the running mate in the coming days, and they will crisscross the country together. Their first stop together will be in Philadelphia Tuesday. They'll also visit Wisconsin, Detroit, Savannah, Phoenix, and Las Vegas next week, along with Raleigh. No further information has been provided about exactly where or when that Raleigh stop will take place. Former President Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, is calling Harris dangerously liberal and says she unleashed the worst border crisis in American history. He held a campaign event last night in Reno, Nevada. In his speech, he called Harris a disloyal American and said opening the border to millions of migrants is threatening to bankrupt Medicare.
Thousands of school buildings in North Carolina do not have carbon monoxide detectors. Today, the State Board of Education will look at what needs to be done to keep kids safe. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the State Education Building in Raleigh with what it will take to install a detector in every school. Kelsey.
Renee, talks are happening here inside the State Education Building about ways to keep your students safe. And today we'll get a breakdown of what it would take to install carbon monoxide detectors in every school in North Carolina. Now, installing these devices comes with a hefty price tag, $40 million. State education leaders are reviewing a report this afternoon. It shows most North Carolina schools don't have them. That causes concern because children are more at risk for carbon monoxide poisoning than healthy adults. A 2018 state building code required the detectors in school, so newer buildings have them, but many older buildings don't. Nikki James Zellner with CO Safe Schools says that puts children at risk.
We think that we're protected when we're going into these establishments. We think that our children are protected. But in reality, we're relying on institutional standards that haven't really been updated in a significant amount of time.
So we'll be sure to keep you updated on what happens during the meeting today and what comes out of that report. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Authorities in Robeson County say the search for a missing person led to the discovery of a body. A Robeson County Sheriff's Office helicopter spotted the body in water near the town of Parkton. The North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office will identify the body and determine a cause of death.
This morning, UNC will be one step closer to having a new chancellor. The search committee is holding a special meeting this morning, and WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from UNC's campus. This has been a process going on for months now. Laura, good morning.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. Well, the last meeting here at James McLean Hall was exactly 2 weeks ago, where the committee said then that this process needs to speed up for competitive and confidentiality reasons. So today we could get an update on how things are going. We know that members of this committee are tasked with identifying a small number of finalists for the position. They'll get one step closer to that goal with today's meeting. We know Kevin Guskowitz left UNC for Michigan State back in January, and that's when the interim chancellor, Lee Roberts took over. The search team has reached out to hundreds of individuals in the last few weeks to gauge interest and solicit recommendations. Some are current university chancellors or presidents. Others are vice presidents, provosts, and deans at large public or top research universities. So the Board of Governors and System President Peter Hans, he'll have the final say on this. We know the goal is to have someone named by the end of this year. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Chapel Hill.
It's another day of Olympic Games getting underway in Paris. We have a look at some of the big events you won't want to miss today. 9 o'clock this morning, USA Women's Beach Volleyball will take on France. Starting at 11:30, you can watch Team USA Men's Gymnastics compete in the all-around final. Then starting at 2:30 this afternoon, it's all things swimming. There are 2 women's finals, one for the 100-meter freestyle and the other for the 1,500-meter freestyle. You can watch all those events and much more action today live right here on WRAL, or catch the replay on Prime Time in Paris starting at 8 tonight.
Today, Jacksonville, North Carolina native Hannah Roberts will compete in the freestyle BMX finals. She won silver in Tokyo, but is looking to get gold after notching the highest qualifying score yesterday. American Paris Benegas also qualified. The finals get underway this morning at 7:10. Let's take a look at where the medal count stands this morning. USA still on top, leading the way with 26 total medals. You see the 4 golds that won from the U.S. women's gymnastics team. And France is in second place. China has moved up to third.
U.S. women's gymnastics team is golden once again, I should say. And Simone Biles led the team back to the top of the Olympic podium, winning a gold medal in yesterday's team final. Biles got a standing ovation after her floor routine. She is now the most decorated American gymnast in the history of the Olympic Games. She has 8 medals. She has a chance to bump that up as well. The individual competition has not even started yet.
Police in Durham are looking for a man accused of hitting a Lowe's home improvement employee with a sledgehammer. The attack happened Saturday morning at the Lowe's on Fayetteville Road. Police say the man hit 60-year-old employee John Wilburn with a sledgehammer before leaving the store with a drill set. Wilburn was rushed to the hospital. A family spokesperson tells WRAL he's in the process of recovery.
He is in stable condition. He's getting better and better each day. But yeah, that's the gist of it.
Police have not identified the man accused in the attack, but here's an image of him from surveillance cameras. They say there is a warrant out for his arrest.
Violent protests in England between far-right protesters and police after 3 young girls were killed in a stabbing attack at a dance class. We'll show you the aftermath of the group's attack near a mosque.
And we'll tell you about the dozens of firefighters from North Carolina who are helping to battle the wildfires in the West right now.
And we'll give you this live look in Zebulon this morning. The temperatures will be back in the mid-90s today, heating up. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking that heat and our increasing storm chances for the weekend.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's 4:45. We're taking a look at warm temperatures this morning. 75 in Wilson, 77 in Durham, 75 in Fayetteville. A little bit of a light breeze there in Wilson there at the Whirligig Park this morning. Heading out the door, temperatures, again, we're going to be mostly in the 70s. We had a couple of isolated showers down south overnight. Those, for the most part, have fizzled out at this point, but we do have a chance later on today. Walking the dog this morning, of course, it feels warm and sticky, and we'll see a high of 95 this afternoon. Around 4 or 5 o'clock, temperatures are going to be really warm, and the heat index will be in the triple digits. Another one of those days you need to watch out when you're walking the dog. Watch for that dark pavement. It can be really hot, and the temperatures will continue to climb. It's possible that we would have a heat advisory for tomorrow and the next several days.
Protesters in Venezuela are bringing down giant statues of Hugo Chavez. Anger is growing after the result of the presidential election there. Nicolas Maduro was handpicked by Chavez to be his successor, and he won a 3rd term. But the opposition party claims to have proof that the results weren't properly counted.
Nearly 90 wildfires are burning right now in the West, including the Park Fire in California. That is now the 5th largest ever in that state. Dozens of firefighters from North Carolina are there on the West Coast helping out on the ground. 87 firefighters from the North Carolina Forest Service are currently working in states across the American West. Firefighters Adam Green and Ethan Min drove a fire engine across the country to eastern Washington state last week. Green says this year is being marked by more mega fires.
You know, just fires they basically have explosive growth. You know, that fire that everybody's seeing on the news right now in California, the Park Fire.
Green and Min will stay out west until August 4th when they'll rotate back home.
United Airlines has removed NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Davis from its no-fly list. This comes after Davis posted an undated letter from United Airlines onto social media yesterday, and in the post he called out the airline for putting him on the no-fly list even though he did nothing wrong. It stems from an incident with a flight attendant earlier this month that ended with Davis being removed from the plane in handcuffs. He was questioned and released. The airline apologized to Davis for his experience. Davis's attorney said they plan to move forward with a lawsuit against the airline.
The stabbing deaths of 3 girls in England are leading to violent protests. Police say protesters threw things at a local mosque with the and the protesters are affiliated with a group called the English Defense League. They are angry because of reports the attacker is Muslim. 3 children died and 8 more were hurt in the violent attack on a dance class in northern England. It happened during a Taylor Swift-themed event on Monday. Police say they don't know what led to the attack, but they don't believe it was terrorism. A 17-year-old is in custody.
Former President Donald Trump will be in Chicago today for the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. His attendance is causing a rift among the group's leaders. In a post to X, one of the organization's co-chairs announced her resignation. She said her decision was in part because she was not consulted about Trump being part of the event. The Trump campaign says he will talk with journalists about pressing issues facing the black community. A source tells NBC News Kamala Harris is unable to attend for logistical reasons and that the NABJ turned down a plan to have her attend virtually.
It is 4:48, and this week it is all about the heat and humidity building back up. And guess who's back in time just to tell us all about it? Yes, Elizabeth. I had so many people on my Facebook page and emailing, "Where's Elizabeth? Is she okay?" And I said, she is fine, living her best life out west.
Absolutely out in Renee, where Renee visits very regularly, Montana and Glacier National Park, and then some time in Idaho, where it was very smoky. We had a lot of that wildfire smoke to deal with there, but other than that, it was absolutely beautiful. It was not cool there. It's not cool here. It's summertime. 77 is our temperatures are heading out the door, and there are dew points way up at 71, so it's a warm, sticky start out there this morning, but otherwise a quiet start to the day. We do have the tower lit in blue for clear skies this morning, and we're going to have a decent summer-like day, end of July, exactly what you would expect to see. Let's jump back and take a look at what we're tracking for the next couple of days. It's only going to get hotter. Our high temperatures are going to climb into the mid to upper 90s with the heat index around 102 to 108 for tomorrow and Friday. It's likely that we'll end up with a heat advisory as those numbers really start to climb. And we just have a small chance for thunderstorms, but I will say that tomorrow and Friday as well, both have a level 1 risk for severe storms. And we're also watching the tropics, so pretty active out there in terms of what some of our weather impacts may be. Around town today, 95 for Raleigh and Durham, 98 in Fayetteville. Our chance for thunderstorms pretty slim. We'll talk more about that in just a minute, but let's talk about our heat index. Could feel like 103 this afternoon in Raleigh, 101 in Durham, 105 in Goldsboro, a little hotter down south, 107 Fayetteville, 105 Clinton, 104 in Southern Pines. And these numbers may be just a little higher tomorrow, so that's why we could end up with a heat advisory. 105 is typically the threshold where the Weather Service will issue that heat advisory, so we're going to be close to that tomorrow, but possibly feeling even hotter by Friday up to 110, and then still feeling hotter over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but it does back off a little bit, and the high temperatures fall to a little closer to 90. Here's what's happening out there in terms of our satellite and radar. We have some thunderstorms that were right near the Virginia-South Carolina line that have dropped southward and eastward down into South Carolina. So we're pretty quiet right now, but that boundary could help to produce a few isolated showers and storms again fairly late this afternoon in the same spot. There's lunchtime where we're still nice and quiet, but we push it on ahead to 5 o'clock, and we'll take a closer look at that coming up in just a little bit. In terms of our potential storm path, we're watching the potential for a system to develop near the Bahamas and possibly move up to the coast of North Carolina by late in the weekend or early next week. So that's something that we'll be watching for you very closely. We're going to talk in more detail about that system and its potential coming up. 98 tomorrow and Friday, and then our highs are closer to normal in the low 90s for the weekend and early next week.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Seth Meyers has a new gig. We'll tell you about his new stand-up comedy special that's coming to HBO.
And we'll show you incredible video of the moment a tornado sweeps up a trailer in Tennessee.